What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again. And today we're going to get back into the XFL. It just won't die. Hey, if it's your first time here, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, do all that subscribe stuff, all that things, you know what I want you to do. Do it. Now, to those of you who leave me comments, I love the comments down in the comment section, and I'd love to hear from you down there. And speaking of comments, listen, I say it, so I'm going to do it, and I do this. Hey, leave me good comments, I'll feature them. And we got 2 for today. So, first one is by DFS, straight to the point. He says, bro, loved your XFL content, ... I will tune in for every breakdown you do. MLB, NBA, volleyball, laugh out loud. Much successes to you. Give me a follow on Twitter, bro, at DFS, straight to the point, my dude. Well, my dude, go follow him. Go follow DFS, straight to the point. Go follow him on Twitter. You'll see him right down there. Find him on Twitter. All right, guys. Now, this next one made me laugh. And first off, I have to say, South Philly Spud, I love the name. That is it's awesome. It's fantastic. I like that there. I thought that's a cool name. I don't know how you came up with it. I don't know if that's a nickname. It's a pretty sweet nickname. Yeah, that's happening right there. So now he says, bro, you got to come up with a better line to close out the video because nobody is busy. LLL. At least 70% of the people on YouTube right now are sitting at home with nothing to do. Well, tune in. Maybe I might come up with something better to say this video. And when people get back to work here soon, then maybe we'll have something else to say. But dude, man, you had me cracking up and love the name. So thank you. All right, so now we got the shout outs over and all of that. We are going to get into the XFL content because it just keeps coming. When you thought the thing was dead, it just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. And listen, I'm just a sucker for it. So I'll just keep taking it. And we'll just keep going over the music. But yeah, if whatever it is, it's the XFL. So we're going to look into it. And we found out today that Oliver Luck was part of the layoffs. So much so to the tune of $20 million. Whew. That is a lot of money for a startup league, but listen, all the work that he did, what he put into that, he put his heart and soul into that project, and he's put his heart and soul into the XFL, and really, honestly, if you ask me, he's worth every dime, every penny. The XFL had everything thrown at it, and Oliver Luck and his team of people and Vince McMahon at every punch had a counter, not only a counter to it, but a counter attack to it. It finally just ended up getting them in the end. But I thought he did a fantastic job. It looks like right now he's going to have to negotiate for something less than 100 cents on the dollar. Listen, if he gets 50 cents on the dollar, the man is still getting $10 million, and I still think that he's worth it. I think he did a fantastic job. He showed what kind of a leader he is and what he can do given the ability to really run things and to do that. Listen, I think that Vince McMahon understands business. He's a shrewd businessman, and I think that he went out and got the guy he needed to, and let him run the show. Not once did Vince McMahon butt himself into this league at all. He made Oliver Luck the face of the league, and Oliver Luck was that. He was the commissioner of the league. He was the head guy. He was the Roger Goodell, and there was no Vince McMahon hovering over things. Now, he might have been overseeing things in, behind the scenes and had a lot workings in behind the scenes things, but when it came to the face of the league, it was Oliver Luck, and he did a fantastic job. I think that he is well deserving of that kind of money. But for a startup league, that kind of money. But hey, when they put together what they did compared to what the AAF was, you pay the man. Now, whether or not he'll come up, whatever he comes up with, that'll be interesting to see what happens there. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we're getting more information on this whole bankruptcy, and maybe, just maybe, the XFL might come back. Wait a second here, Tyler. You're telling me we got a chance? You're darn tootin' right we got a chance. Listen, this thing is not dead yet. We might be on life support. We might be on a ventilator system. We might just be hooked up to every stinking machine you can to keep something alive, but the XFL is still alive for this moment. It's looking like that McMahon is looking to sell the league, and this is legit. This is not a rumor. We thought that these were rumors, and that going around now, it looks like that this is pretty legit, and that this isn't just part of the proceedings, that this is something he's seriously looking to do, and that there are people who are quite interested in the XFL. We don't have any names. We don't know of anybody, but that there are those folks out there who are quite interested in it. And they're actually looking at closing the deal before July 15th. In this climate, in this type of economic craziness, and people are chomping at the bit to buy the XFL. That just shows you how successful it was, how good of a product it was. And again, it goes back to Oliver Luck. That's why you pay the man the money. And that's what it is. Now, I thought it was an interesting quote, and I'll put a link down to the Forbes article here, and I'll definitely put a link down to the whole Oliver Luck thing. But one quote I want to look at, and it's by a man named Klein. So Klein, who it says he's a former NFL player who is now a partner at Line, wrote in an email. So this is what he's saying. Andrew Klein. So aspiring sports mongols have contacted investment banker Andrew Klein about purchasing the XFL. Wrestling impresario Vince McMahon's bankrupt professional football league. That was a whole mouthful to say that this guy is an investment banker that's dealing with the XFL. His quote, listen to this: there are many folks interested in calling us, but we're not working on anything, and without a billionaire stepping in for Vince, we are not interested, Klein says. If Vince McMahon, and then he goes on to say, this is the interesting part to me, which I find just fascinating to me, okay? He says, if Vince McMahon was 100% committed to the XFL, I think it could have survived COVID-19 and much worse. I totally agree. It really shows where Vince McMahon is. And right now, Vince McMahon is really circling the wagons around the WWE. If you've been paying attention to wrestling, the past few days have not been good for the WWE. They've been releasing wrestlers and good wrestlers and a lot of talent. And, they're just right now, they are bailing water. And the XFL is probably going to be, the first piece that's going to go after. I mean, they let a lot of talent go. If you ask me, the WWE was probably bloated anyways with talent. I mean, they had so much talent they didn't know what to do with, and they didn't really have storylines for people. And when they did have storylines for people, it wasn't very good storyline. They weren't able to really utilize the talent that they had. So it might be good for some of these guys down the road. I mean, it's terrible. They're missing their livelihoods. I mean, shoot, I watched that video by Drake Maverick, and I felt bad for the dude. You could definitely tell he loved WWE. He loved wrestling for them. I mean, he was a company man, and now he's got to figure out what to do for a living. It's just sad. And thankfully, I have been blessed throughout all this time, and count my blessings. Thank the Lord. For all of that. And again, my heart goes out to everyone that's struggling out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here in this video. I mean, we joked about earlier about people not having anything to do during this time. And I know that that's a struggle because there's a lot of hardworking Americans like you guys watching out there that want to work that just can't right now. Hopefully, looks like things might be picking up here soon. So I'm pretty excited about that. And again, you guys are constantly in my prayers. And those of you out there who are watching, continue to pray, for everyone out there. And if you have any specific prayer requests or anything, leave me those in the comment too. I'll pray for you guys. And that I'm always looking, for more people I can lift up to the Heavenly Father. That's not the least thing to do. This is the most thing I can do. I mean, He's the one in charge of it all anyways. But getting back to this whole thing of the XFL, if Vince wanted it to, it would have survived. I think it would be. And that really shows who Vince McMahon is. And Vince McMahon is a shrewd businessman. And there's a reason. I mean, people are kind of mocking, Trump bringing in Vince McMahon as part of his, task force, this, I don't know, whatever you wanted to call it, that team of, businessmen to, figure out kind of this economic thing. Yeah, he's been hurt pretty hard. But if you've paid any attention to Vince McMahon, you cannot say that he's not a good businessman and hasn't made good business decisions throughout the years, because he has. Now, right now, he's been on a little bit of a downward turn with that. But you don't get to be Vince McMahon without doing something good. And I truly feel like he would have fought this thing tooth and nail if his heart really would have been in it, and if he could have. I think he really needed to focus on the WWE. And so that is kind of sad for us with the XFL. Now, let's really talk about that elephant in the room. For sale. I have no clue who's going to buy the XFL, who is interested in the XFL, and who has enough money. They're looking for a billionaire, they're saying, to buy the league. I don't know who's going to buy it. The first thing that comes to mind for everybody is the NFL, and you need to get that out of your heads. That's not going to happen. If you paid any attention to the CBA, the players are wanting to play less. They're wanting more time off, and they got it. And they're wanting more practice players. They got that. And they're wanting to pay them more. They got that. And in all honesty, the lower tier guys, if it wasn't for the XFL, they wouldn't have gotten that in the CBA. They wouldn't have got those extra players on the roster. They wouldn't have got the extra money for the practice players. And they that stuff, the extra roster spots, that would not have happened in the CBA had not been for the XFL to take guys like Josh Johnson, guys, like PJ Walker. I'm just telling you, that would not have been the case, because those guys would have been on practice squads or wouldn't have been getting phone calls. And so, they should be thanking the XFL because they got a payday out of it. The lower tier guys did. Now, the NFL is not going to they're not going after the XFL. Why? One, the XFL isn't really what they want. They don't want to mess with it. They don't want to do that. NFL is not NBA. It's not baseball, and it's not soccer. It's a lot more intense of a game when it comes to physicality. Your injury goes, the other sports you can get injured and you can be hurt, and there's risk involved there. But when you add football into the mix and you got these high collisions and things, it just goes through the roof. So for them to add a minor league and for them to take on not only that type of responsibility, that type of liability, and having to cover insurance on all these other players and do that, yes, they could. And I think that they could bolster up, and I think that they could possibly put together a good product, but that's not what they're looking for. They're not looking to do that. They're looking to expand the brand that they have. And the other thing is that they're not going to waste their talent on lower league stuff. If they're going to make that a minor league, they're not going to waste a guy that they think they could use on Sunday and risk him getting hurt if they need him in a game at any other time or on. They're not going to do that. These guys are too valuable for them, to their product, to their brand, and they lose way too much money fiddling around with what the XFL is or a minor league would be. Because as soon as you tag that minor league moniker on that, it'll do exactly what the AAF did. Now, the AAF did fine in some things, but it truly was the stepping stone to something else. Whereas with the XFL, it was different. It felt different. It didn't feel like the minor leagues, even though they had minor league players, and we knew that they weren't the talented guys that were in the NFL. Now, we did find some guys that are, and I'm telling you that out of the XFL, you will find guys that will be Sunday stars. They're not going to be numerous. You're going to have a handful of them, but I'm telling you that there's a difference there. People are, when you put the moniker of minor league, people are going to go to the games. They're going to have fun and that, but it's always going to have that shelf there. And the other thing is, like I said, football is different. The risk is much, much higher than a lot of the other sports, where a guy can go down, he can play a couple, he can play some games in AAA and then come back up, or he can develop in the D League and that. When you're talking about NFL, you throw a guy and you throw him in a league for a couple years, that's 2 years of wear on that guy. Whereas if he's been on the practice squad, not getting in the hits, not the stuff, he does not have the wear on him like somebody else does. I'm just telling you that that's how it is. The NFL, I think that they want something that they can harvest people from, that they can take players from, but I don't think they want to really own it. They just want to snipe from it. And I think that's why they truly did like the XFL. They liked what the XFL was doing and let them kind of do their thing. And, they were going to kind of figure that out. And the XFL was going to kind of figure out how to live around there too. Now, do I know of anybody else that would buy it or anything else? I don't know. Here is the thing for me that I worry about with the XFL going forward. I think too many of these businessmen that if they do buy it, I don't think they're going to leave the product the way it is. I think that they will probably make the product more conservative than what it is right now. And meaning that they're going to try to make it more NFL-like, that they'll probably take the access away from the fans. I can tell you that was a McMahon thing through and through. Now, I don't have any proof on this. I'm just saying from what I've seen that I think my personal opinion is that the whole being there, seeing everything that's happening on the field, being right in with the refs, listening to every call the refs make, listening to all of the offensive coordinators, the head coaches, everybody mic'd up, even the sky judge mic'd up. That's McMahon. He knows what drama is. He knows how to create it. He knows what good TV is. Now, granted, you can say what you want about the WWE right now with that, but he's done it in the past, and he knows the drama sells. And putting that out there, I think, was huge. Because, and if you ask me, that was a McMahon thing. Because I could see Oliver Luck saying, "I get it," and pressing back, and I could see that week, just that debacle that just they fell apart when the New York Guardians fell apart that week, and it was just mayhem on the sidelines. I mean, it was much watched TV. Their center, Silberman, is just about ready to get kicked out of the game. You got the refs talking to both head coaches. You got the head coach doing stuff. You got a fight between the offensive coordinator and the quarterback and all that. I could see, Gilbride. I could see him going, we can't, we can't put ourselves this. We're looking like we're a mockery and this and that. And I could see McMahon saying, "Tough luck, man. Get out there and you do better then." And I like that. I loved the characters, and I worry that the XFL that they built will be molded and changed into something that it wasn't intended to be, and take the fun out of the XFL. The XFL really brought fun to football back in football for me. I've just kind of felt like, especially with, I love my college football and I love my Buckeyes, but it's all, the stakes are so high and there's so much writing on everything, which makes it fun. And the NFL, it's almost like it's too serious. And it's like there's not that fun there. And it's almost like you're not allowed to have fun. I mean, these guys can't joke. They can't be characters. They can't have personalities. I mean, we got personalities. We got characters. Montez Carter, I mean, on down the list. You got to see people being real, being who they are, and people ate it up and they loved it. So I don't know. I do think that there are a lot of people, a lot of guys out there who are chomping at the bit to really see what they could do with the XFL. And I think that that's my biggest concern right now with the XFL is just that if somebody comes in here and buys the XFL, yeah, we're going to get the XFL back, but it's going to be watered down. I think the XFL, they did a good job with bringing in Oliver Luck, and if they could keep Oliver Luck, I think that would really solidify things and keep it kind of what it is. Keep the coaches. I think that would be fantastic, and really try to keep things as close to what it is right now. I thought that the way that they ran the game was great. I liked the flow of the game. I liked the quicker clock. They were starting to feel it and starting to really get into it, those last couple weeks. And I would have really loved to see what it would have looked like, there in the playoffs and that. Again, it would have been fantastic to have, but unfortunately we didn't end up having it. But I just feel like if somebody comes in here to try to buy the league, I feel like they're going to meddle in the league too much and take the fun that we enjoy and what we had in those few 5 weeks that we got of the XFL and just tweak it enough to really take the XFL out of the XFL. And I think it was working. I thought it was a good product. I liked what they were doing, and what they were doing was smart. It was edgy. It was exactly what, real diehard football fans want. They want to see. And, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? I've seen it too many times where these guys want to do football, and so they try to mimic exactly what the NFL is, and then it just becomes NFL light, and two, it's not good football because everybody and their brother is not playing for the team. They're playing for their next shot at the NFL. And the XFL kind of built itself as, listen, you're good? Let's play. Let's do some ball. Let's play some ball, and let's really try to win some games here, and let's try to do this stuff. And, if you get a shot to get back in the NFL, if we can get you on your way, do that, great. But we need you to play here, and you're going to play here. And when you're here, you're going to play here. And so it kept everybody focused on the XFL. And if you notice, players were happy. The players were enjoying it. They were loving it. Whereas you asked the guys who were in the AAF and the guys who played in the XFL, there's no comparison to them. The XFL was loads more fun. They enjoyed themselves way more. And, well, one, when you're getting paid. But even before they weren't getting paid, you could just tell that there was a different atmosphere about it. And I just don't want to lose that with the XFL. We had a lot of fun things. And the other thing is, I don't really want to lose these teams. I love the logos. I love, the way that they looked on the field. I mean, everything was crisp. It was clean. It was sharp. It was nice. I mean, it was football. I loved it. And I just don't want to lose that. So when it comes to these different guys coming in to try to buy the league, I do hesitate, and here's the thing. I don't know. I think McMahon's pretty much pulled out of the XFL. I don't see him, resurrecting it. I see him going through the bankruptcy to maybe try to continue it on. He might here, if as everything goes, he might take it back over. It looks like, they're pretty optimistic that they could get something done by July 15th. So I have no clue who's going to be the billionaire that's going to be stepping up. But it is pretty interesting that they're not just letting the league go to anybody. That the league, they're going to let it go to somebody who is a billionaire. And maybe that's their stipulation of saying, really, there's no billionaire that's really going to want this. And so maybe that is the whole idea of it's just part of the process to where McMahon's just kind of going through the motions to kind of get through this bankruptcy so he can kind of get through it. And then, and then once everything's over with COVID-19, restart the XFL and just kind of, all right, here we go, reboot, boop, and here we go. I don't know. That could be it too. That's not necessarily what we're hearing, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's kind of what's been happening with that. Those are my thoughts. I know I rambled on a little bit with that, so I apologize with it, but there's still hope. And that's the key thing here, is that there's still hope for the XFL, and that, maybe, we still might be able to get the XFL back. So it might not be completely dead. And that's the good news that's there. And listen, right now, with everything that's going on, we need to cling to hope. And I hope that you're doing that. So as we're sitting here, and as we're watching, and we're just kind of hanging out as people together, I do appreciate you guys. Want to let you know that I love all you guys out there, and thank you very much for watching my videos and interacting with me. Keep up the hope, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.